Welcome to Introduction to Philosophy. This is an online course, a 15-week course, beginning at 12:01 a.m. on Tuesday, the 20th of January, and concluding at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, May the 11th. This is a 15-week course, and so we'll have an entire 15 weeks for us to complete this class. What I'm doing in this screencast is I'm giving you an overview. There's some important things that I don't want you to miss, and some important things that you need to be aware of, and so this screencast will help give you those specifics. The first thing you're going to notice is that at the beginning of every week I'm going to post a welcome. This one says welcome to Introduction to Philosophy, but I'll post it and say welcome to week 2, welcome to week 3, welcome to week 4, and every time I do that you're going to find a different picture. If you go to the contents page, you're going to find that in the contents page there's a planning for week 1. And if I open up planning for week 1, you're going to find in that planning the same picture. So if you click on a folder and you don't get the picture that shows up in the news item at the beginning of every week, then you're going to know that obviously you've clicked on the wrong content page. So it's very important for you to grasp that and understand that. Okay. The other thing I want you to notice is that let me go back to this other page and then I'll come back here in a moment. In this page you're going to find out a lot of information. If you want to contact me via email function of D2L, you may, or you can contact me at my FRCC email address, which is craig.schrotlin@frontrange.edu. You may get a hold of me via my cell phone, and I do accept text messages even though I'm old. But remember, do not text or call after 10 p.m. and please do not text or call before 5 p.m. So if you have one of those little, things where you decide to send Happy New Year to everybody, make sure that I'm not on that list. Okay, I do celebrate the New Year with New York, and as soon as the New Year comes, I go to bed. Okay, because I celebrated it. I just did it in New York's time zone, though I live in Colorado's. So just keep that in mind, and we'll all be happy. Okay. So what I'm going to do is every Sunday night I will post to the content page. Okay, and I will do that, and so what you can see is, let's get to getting started here. So in getting started, this is part of week 1. You're going to want to go through all of these things. So there's some policies that are very, very important. How to prepare for this course. Here's a profile, a little bit about me. Here is a syllabus, and here's a schedule. The detailed schedule tells you when everything's due, the day it's due. Here's our discussion guidelines. Here's some tips. Here's some criteria for written work. Here is the discussion thread for week 1. Here's just some information that's important about discussions. Here's some term paper information, so all of that's there. And if you're having trouble with your banner, or you're having trouble, or your browser, you're having trouble with, or you need an Adobe Reader, those kind of things, you may get them there. The one thing nice about this is if I click on online learning course policies, you're going to see that I have all of them here. I have links that are working links to certain things that may be of importance to you. But it's important to go through here and kind of it talks about plagiarism. It talks about, what's the difference, what's cheating, what's collaboration, what happens if we're going to close campus, which really doesn't affect your online class unless you have an appointment to see me on campus. Okay, but all of that's important. Then what I think is important is if we go back to getting started, notice over here that there's a box, and if I click on that box, now I know that I've read that piece of material. And I think it's very, very important for us to do that because it helps you stay on task. If this is your first or second online course, it's there's a lot of difficulty with an online course because you don't have anybody babysitting you, and you have to stay on task. It's not like you come to class and I remind you of all the stuff that's to do. I will still do that through news items, but it's very important for you to realize that it's highly disciplined, and it takes a disciplined effort to do an online course. Okay, so this just keeps you on task. I'm going to click on here. This is our syllabus, and in the syllabus you're going to see all the information. This is the basics. We do not have a textbook. If you bought a textbook, go get your money back. Okay, it's not required. Here's what I expect. So all the readings must be read within the first 2 days of the week. Just very, very important. Okay. I talk a little bit about that. I talk about attendance and what attendance is. If you don't post in a discussion thread, you're considered absent, and those absences will affect you. Understand that over 50% of your grade is discussion, the discussion posts, so make sure you keep that in mind. Here's our late policy. We have 5 short writing assignments. They're due by 11:59 on the Sunday of the week in which they're assigned. If they're late, you incur a 20% loss for every 24 hours. We have a term paper. It's due on the 29th of March, and it gets 20% loss of points for each 24-hour period. We have quizzes. When they're due, you need 2 hours to give yourself to take it. It's due by 11:50 p.m., 9 p.m. on Sunday night. If you miss a quiz, well, you aren't going to be able to make it up because it's locked, it's closed, it's done. Okay, and here's all the points. 650 points for the class. 400 of those are discussion threads. That's participation, class participation and attendance. So please keep that in mind. All assignments must be submitted in one of these formats only. Okay, don't send me your pages. Don't send me it in a PDF. It's got to be in one of those only. If you can't do it, you can bring it to the school and you can convert it there. Wikipedia, encyclopedias, about.com, YouTube, blogs, newspapers, magazines, okay, unless they are a journal or a periodical, those types of things are not an acceptable source for any type of research. Okay, so please keep that in mind. It's very, very important. Okay, here's our class schedule. Understand that if you are not active by the Monday 6 o'clock on the 26th, if you haven't posted into the introductions discussion thread, you'll be dropped from this class. That's just the way it is. The last day you can drop is February the 4th to get a refund. There are 2 spring breaks, one for our students in Larimer and one for our students at Westminster, Boulder, or Brighton campuses. So as we get closer to spring break, I'm going to tell you how that's going to work. You can withdraw by the 18th of April and get a W instead of an F, which I'd highly recommend. And if it looks like you're going to fail, I will probably let you know. Just some guidelines. I have policies, etc., etc. These are the online discussions. Make sure you read them. You must post on at least 3 different days. You can't save all your posts till Friday. Understand, all of our posts close at 6 p.m. on Friday. We do not do discussions on Saturday or Sunday. If you like to do discussions on Saturday or Sunday, you're not going to like this class. I don't work on the weekend. That's my time to be with my family and do the things that I need to do with my family. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Discussion threads open at 12:01 a.m. on Mondays, this week on Tuesday, but every week for 2 through 15 will be on Monday at 12:01 a.m. and will close at 11:15 or at 6 o'clock p.m. Your first response must be posted by 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Very, very important. And if you post on Wednesday, you can still post on Thursday and Friday before 6 p.m. and you got your 3 days in. There are a minimum of 4 posts. Okay, so on one day you're going to have 4 posts, but you have to do a initial response to the thread question, and then you have to respond to at least a minimum of 3 other classmates. Okay. The second thing is, remember that reading is very important. Okay, reading is like being in classroom and discussing. So if you're not in the classroom, you're not discussing, you're not going to get it read. Okay, so this is a percentage. If you're reading all the threads, you're going to get the points. You're going to get the points. It's not a problem. But keep that in mind. It's very, very important. This is my plagiarism policy, and here's just the violation of the Student Code of Conduct found in the student handbook, and I just copied it straight from there. So if you have any questions about that, okay. So if I get done with that, I can go back to the tables of contents, and I've read my syllabus. I understand what's in the syllabus, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here. I'm going to click the syllabus. So now what I've done is I've done that. So hopefully you're starting to get an idea of exactly what's going to be happening. Okay. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to get in touch with me. I can do that. I'm on campus of Westminster campus on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We can meet face to face if you'd like. We could do a Skype session if you'd like. There's a lot of ways that we can interact. So just make sure you stay in contact with me. Okay. One other thing about discussion threads: great post is not a discussion thread. So if you put great post, oh, I love that answer, you think just like I do. That's great, but it's not going to count. I need something that has content. So when you are responding to students, I need content. I don't just need great posts. So please keep that in mind. It's very, very important. Okay? Let's see. I hope that you have a great semester. That's all the basic stuff that I wanted to cover, the important things that I wanted to cover. I do want to make one other thing. I do have it in other places, but in week 12, let's see here. Where am I at? Beginning MA 1. Oh, it's not open. I'm in the student thing, so I apologize for that. Let me go in here because I want to quit viewing as a student. I want to view it as the professor, so I can show you. What you just saw was that I lock all of these. So this actually starts on week 3. Actually starts on February the 1st. But notice that it opens up earlier than that, or February the 2nd, but it opens earlier. So this is week 12, and in week 12, notice that I've got a couple of videos that are posted. So all you have to do is you can go on it. This is for our discussion thread. So you can see it here, or you can actually click on the discussion thread, which is where you'll need to go eventually. It will take you to the discussion thread, and you can watch those videos. Those videos also go along with so what we're reading from Martin Luther King that he wrote on April the 16th, 1963. So this is a reading assignment. So as you can see, what it does is it allows you, all the links work, it allows you to see everything and opens everything up to you. So hopefully you have a better understanding of this class. Hopefully you get a good idea of what's happening. The rest of the information is down here. What you're going to actually see when you actually log in is that this video will be right here. But anyway, that's kind of where it goes. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to call me, text me, send me an email. We can meet online, we can meet on campus. I'm here to make this a great semester. One of the things I want to make sure that's very, very important is this. Remember, philosophy is not a subject to be studied. Philosophy is a way of life. This is a class about thinking. Okay, and I'm going to stimulate that thinking. And there will be times when we have great discussions, and there's going to be times when you really, really disagree with the guy that just posted. Okay, and even though you don't agree, we still respect. Okay, I highly, highly respect some of my students, though I don't agree with them at all. Okay, but that doesn't mean I can't respect them, and that doesn't mean that I can't look at their point of view and at least evaluate that point of view in understanding my own thought process. So please keep that in mind. I think if we do that, we'll have a great semester. I'm looking forward to it. Have a great semester, and I'll see you in our discussion threads.